Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another interview. Today we have David, owner and founder of MD Entertainment, and today he's going to tell us about his story, future plans, and everything that he has going on. So, hey, David, nice to have you here with us. We can start off with tell us about yourself and the beginning. So, what got you into DJing at weddings, singing, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I've been doing music, like singing and playing guitar. That's the main thing I've done since I was like 12 years old, bro. So I've always loved music. Like I remember, I'm gonna date myself, but I remember having my stereo with a tape, waiting for the right song that I wanted to record, and I'd hit record and play so that I'd create my own playlist. Right? It's way before Spotify or smartphones. And so I'd wait for the next song. I was like, I wanted that song, that Blink 182 or that whatever it was, dude, to just record it, have my playlist ready to go, you know? So I've loved music since I was a little kid. I grew up playing, as a lot of people do, as a church boy. Grew up in church playing music. And now, you know, I do a lot of restaurant, wineries, weddings, and do a lot of cover songs like from Bruno Mars, Maroon 5, John Mayer, that kind of style.
That's awesome. So, what got you into weddings? Like, how did you start playing at events or weddings, or when did you realize, like, hey, this can be something that I can earn money from, or how did that all happen?
Yeah, so I guess one thing I did forget to mention was that I grew up in Guatemala. So I don't know, a lot of people don't know that, but my mom is from California. My dad's the Latin lover. Saw the white chick with blue eyes. Was like, I'm gonna get that girl. She played hard to get, you know what I'm saying? And so I grew up there with dual citizenship. So I'd come to the States every summer, California, my whole mom's side of the family. But I think it was it was with the pandemic that I decided to come up here to live here for a while. And so I was just looking at odd jobs, and I've always been good at, you know, playing guitar, singing. Back in Guatemala, I probably did about 4 or 5 weddings. So when I was looking for just like odd jobs, I came across this one wedding DJ company that's like hiring hosts and DJs. And I was like, well, hey, you know. And so they're like, do you speak, and I said, I speak Spanish. And they're like, do you want to host? I was like, host weddings? I was like, I guess like officially, I've never done that, but we tried it out. They're like, dude, you're a natural. And so the rest was history, and you know, I've been doing it for about 3 years now, some weddings.
That's awesome. Can you go into a little bit when you mean by host, like what does that entail?
Yeah, so for weddings, a host is the person with the microphone, basically transitioning everyone, all the guests, from the cocktail to the reception dinner to the toasts to the first dance. You're engaging with the guests, making sure everything falls smoothly from one event to the other, all the way up to the dance floor, you know. And then by that time, it's the DJ takes over, and then my job is done, you know.
So do you work with the wedding planner, or do you do the planning, the transition, all of that as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I work with a coordinator and bride and groom ahead of time, right? We'll build an itinerary. Hey, what are your songs that you want? What kind of genre for your cocktail hour? What kind of genre for dinner? What song do you guys want to do your first dance to? And so I build that. I make sure my timeline matches the coordinators, and day of the event, we're talking, we're communicating, making sure everything flows smoothly. So it actually, you know, some people want to do a wedding on a budget, and I'm like, you know, there's maybe 2 things you shouldn't do low budget, which is your coordinator and your DJ. As a DJ, when there is no coordinator, or as a host or DJ, when there's no coordinator, it's like, you know, it's not handling cattle. It's like handling cats, man.
A lot of stuff going on and trying to.
There's a lot of messiness. There's not, you know, clarity. There's not, you know, good structure, and you can tell the flow. The flow just isn't there, right? So.
You also mentioned that you sing. So how does that work out when you're coordinating and singing? Do you mingle the both together? Do you just coordinate, or do you offer like a full service? I sing, I coordinate, I do all of this.
Yeah, so for weddings, depending on people's budget, there's different packages, and so what we'll do is I'll offer my services as a host and DJ. Now, if they're cool with the live music, be like, okay, let's do a bigger package. Let's add some lights. Let's do this. So I'll host the event, sing either their cocktail or reception dinner, and then let the DJ take care of the dance floor.
Oh, okay. Can you go a little bit into your packages? So maybe talk about the pricing and what does it include. I know you mentioned it briefly, but if you can get a little bit more into like the logistics.
Yeah. So here in Northern California, I'd say people spend more money than in other places in the U.S. The average used to be like 30,000. I'm pretty sure it's gone up, but most DJs in this area charge between 18 to 2,500. That's the going rates per wedding. And I mean, as a company, right? You're also paying for all the equipment rental, your staff, your roadies too that help you out. So it ends up being like a 12, 14-hour day for a DJ company, and taking care of all the equipment. And so last year was my first year really launching by myself as well, working for some other companies, but now launching my own. And I got 2 weddings, and then this year it's grown to 12 weddings of my own, right? Adding the other ones that I do with other companies, I do about 35, 40 events a year. So yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Can you talk a little bit about that? So you said you did 2 weddings last year, and this year you have 12 weddings. Like, was there any strategies to get these clients? Was it more referrals? How did you obtain these new clients?
Yeah, it's a great question. I knew at my core, the best thing you can do is do your best job, right? The referrals, that if people speak well about you, they'll recommend you, right? And so the most important thing is to do a really good job, right? You come and you give it 110%. And the second is networking with coordinators. That's the most important thing I've learned with this is the coordinators have so much weight in saying, hey, I recommend this guy or this company. And so really the switch from last year to this year was a few coordinators helping me. We're gonna take a pause. Yeah, coordinators have a lot of weight, and so I came in contact with a few coordinators that saw what I did, and they're like, "Oh, we'll vouch for you," And so my goal every time they've given me a wedding is like to make sure the client is satisfied, because that allows them to have the peace of mind to recommend me again. And so I was expecting to go from 2 to 4, maybe 6, but it jumped to 12, and then we're only at half of the year, So there's still time to book some more events, and so yeah, dude, I think the American dream is working hard with whatever you're doing,
Is coordinator referrals the only strategy you use right now, or are you testing any new methods? For example, like creating your own website or running ads on social media. Any other marketing strategies that you're trying out or testing?
So yeah, I have a website, and definitely part of the strategy has been doing more social media content, updating the website, constantly so that it's more up to date with the events that I've done recently to showcase what I do. And so, because I don't know about a lot of people, but for me, it's like being my own social media manager, posting, I hate it, Like I just want to do the event and not even record anything. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, but we're now in the age where, dude, it's like content is king, dude. It's like cash is king, content is king, man.
Yeah, a lot of people are going on social media to look for all sorts of vendors, entertainers. So yeah, it's the world that we're in now.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think website, there's definitely plans for me to do some more push with marketing. I've taken this year as a year of building content that I can then use for that push. So a few more weddings, and I'll have enough content to keep going that next level,
So that's awesome. Have you ever tried out websites like the Knot or Wedding Wire? Do you have any experience with those?
I haven't plugged myself in yet. I was kind of hoping, like, I have a certain goal. I was like, I'm gonna make sure I have at least 2 weddings a month before I get to that point where I do this full time. Right? It's not my full time yet, but when I see the numbers right, it's like, okay, I can go full time. Then I know I can accept the offers that come in, because otherwise I can't do multiple jobs at the same time.
Yeah, it's hot. And what would you say is the biggest transition going from 2 to 12 weddings that you didn't foresee or has been difficult?
I think the challenge is just, for me, has been, I think we talked about, social media marketing, like promoting yourself. A lot of people, they have a good, they have a good content, or they have a good business, but they don't have good content, right? I see that a lot. I'm like, dude, you have a really good restaurant, you have a really good, service, but your social media is crap. You know what I mean? So, it's been learning to push myself to do more of that, because that's what, a couple, they're like, oh, the coordinator is recommending you. Well, what do they have to show for it?
So they want to see like you in action.
Yeah. And so obviously I can't compare myself to DJ company who's been doing it for 10, 20 years. But I'd say for being my second year, things are working out, man. So I think it's just about working hard, doing your best, communicating well with coordinators and your clients, and that pays for itself in the long run.
That's awesome. Are weddings your primary source of events, or is there other type of events that you do as well?
I mean, I think weddings are the primary source of income when it comes to events, but I definitely do restaurants and wineries for live music, like focus on just live music. And actually, I use those events as places where I can then get more wedding clients. It's actually worked out. I have a wedding this Saturday. They saw me singing at a restaurant 2 years ago, and they had my business card on their fridge, and now they're getting married. They're like, we're gonna call this guy
David. How often do you do that?
I probably, because I feel like my schedule's kind of busy, I try to limit myself to about 1, maybe 2 events per month where it's like open to public. So yeah.
And those events like are local, or do you go to different areas of Northern California?
So far, it's been mostly local to like Yuba City, Marysville, and I've recently been adding a few venues in Sacramento, especially one winery called Scribner Bend. That's kind of what got me started with wineries as well, and I actually really enjoy. I want to do more wineries. I like them a lot.
And how did you get your foot in the door with wineries and these type of restaurants?
From doing weddings at those venues.
So it's like a cycle.
It's all part. It all circles back to each other. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you do any post follow-up with your clients, or do you have any like post follow-up strategies that you implement? Or
I think I know that I've done a good job when they reach back out and they thank me. And so, as far as, at least in my kind of business, there's not a whole lot of posts I need to do other than reach out and hope, hey, you guys mind giving me a good review? Like, I only ask them if I know it's like 110%, but yeah, it's just a quick exchange of emails, or on their social media. Thanks again for having me, and feel their appreciation back. So.
That's awesome. And in your experience, I know you briefly talked about if you're on the low budget, there are 2 things you want to do: a coordinator and a DJ. Other than that, is there anything else that makes a wedding unforgettable or just amplifies the experience?
I think let's pause for a second. Let me think about that one. That's a good one. So I've done weddings in backyards, and I've done weddings in beautiful wineries and mansion houses. And I think some of the most unforgettable ones for me are the ones where the couple really took time to to know what they wanted, what made it unique for them. What like it wasn't just any random song for their first dance. Like this song meant something to them, you know. Or they asked for some activity that really meant something to their family, you know, and or a toast of a family member that I'm like, man, that like you can tell this family was really close. There's something very special going on. So it doesn't really, to me, at the end of the day, it's not the venue, but but the love that couple brings together and the commitment that they did to having an awesome day, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but thanks for your time, David.
Yeah.
You can let our viewers know where to find you.
Yeah, all right, guys. Thank you so much. My name is Michael David. My website is mdentertainment.biz. See you around.
Que tengo
Yeah, cool, bro.
miedo a
Awesome, man.
perderte,
Learned a lot. Yeah.
después.
Yeah, if we had only if we had a little bit more time.